Hey campers, George here, back in the man cave, looking at another sharp and shiny. This one from a favorite, Marbles Knives. Love marbles. I like them because, you know what? They meet my budget. Inexpensive, well-made little knives. Love marble. And this one is pretty close to being a Sod Buster, although not quite. What I'm going to do is we'll go through and have a look at this guy. Then I want to compare it to a Sod Buster. And I thought something that's almost the same as this is the Roper Tumbleweed, kind of a mini Sod Buster. They're almost the same, couple of differences. Let's check them out. So what I'm talking about is this guy from Marbles. And you can see it comes in the regular Marbles packaging, has all that normal stuff from Marbles on it. The interesting thing is that the part number on here is different to what it is on the website. But let's have a look at it. And let me get it out there for you. And this is called the Marbles PK114WH. Where that comes from, I don't know. Because the model number on the box says MR579. Take your pick. And here it is here. See that? Kind of looks like a Sod Buster, right? You see the difference right away? This is not a lockback. This is a slip joint, but wow, it's pretty close. And I got to tell you, looking at this, I like the bone on this. On a lot of the white bone knives out there, and by the way, they call this the work knife, the Marbles work knife, white bone handle. And if you look at it, you can see, well, maybe not. I'll try and get it for you. But it's not quite all white. It's got a little bit of dippling in it. You see it there? There it's more obvious. I kind of like that. A little different. It's not totally white. And it's a nice size. You can see it there. Very nice. Very plain, simple. It has an L neck in it. You can see it right there. The blade comes out. It does have a half stop. And it's a pretty good one. You can see that. And then snap in. Let's see how that goes. It's okay. It's not perfect. It snaps in there, and it's in there pretty good. There is a little bit of wobble, but I have to really force it. So there you can see it there. Say hello to Mary. She's here to visit, to see what I'm about again. She does like him sharp and shinies, though. Takes after me. It's rubbing off. So here you can see it here. And it's a really plain knife. Kind of Sod Buster-ish. And I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of marbles. And I just like the style. It's, I want to say, a drop point. It's a nice, flat, clean blade. This is, oh, it does say a MR579. And, of course, that word that nobody wants to see. Yep, made in China. And on the other side there, you can see the Marbles logo there. Very nice. Nice and clean, just below the choil there. The ricasso and everything is pretty normal. Does not have any bolsters on it. You can see the actually 4 pins holding the scales on there. They're holding the bone there nicely. And, of course, your big pivot point here. Very nice, very clean. Very clean. The liners, they look good. Check them out. Not bad. That little spot there is dirt, I believe. Just need to clean that off. But I did notice on the back here, the bone got a little chipped. You see that right there? Big deal? Nah, not for me. Like I said, these are working knives for me. They're not collector's items, although I consider myself a really bad collector. I collect any knives. But it's not, you know, it's not a fancy collection at all. It's random and it's my personal choices. If it's got a little bit something wrong with it, all the better. It just makes it more unique and more mine. And once again, Mary's at it again. Well, Mary's decided to just sit on my lap for some reason. She doesn't normally do that when I'm here. The blade, I told you that it's looks more like a drop point. They actually say clip point. It's a very slight clip there and you can barely see it. So I'll take their word for it. You can see the nail nick. You can see the nail nick there with the match strikes on it. That's typical Marbles Rough Rider, they all do that on the traditional knives. And very nice. I like this. Stainless steel blade, white bone, smooth bone handle, they say. So you can see it there. Very nice. Even Mary appreciates it. You can see it there. I do like this knife. I like the style. I'm a big Sod Buster fan, and this, it is 440A stainless steel. You know, that's really typical amongst the traditional blades that are made out of there by Marbles or Rough Rider, people like that. And, you know, I suspect it's used there where it's good enough for this type of knife and for their price range. It's a budget knife. So, you know, you're paying a budget price, you're going to get not the best steel. Is there a problem with this steel? I've never had a problem with any 440. A, C, B, you name it. Never had a problem with it. I don't really abuse my knives. I just tend to use them in normal ways. Whittling, everyday carry type things, opening a letter, cutting cardboard box, opening up bags, that sort of thing. So these type of blades, I think, are more than enough. That 440 and, you know, not a big deal for me. Like I said, it has the brass liners on there, and they're in there really nicely. You can see, let's see how that blade sits in there. And you've got that half stop, and it snaps in nice and close. Let's see. Wow. Right in the middle. Look at that. See it? Sitting there nice, dead center. So no problem there. I like this knife. You know, I'm a simple guy in a lot of ways. When it comes to my taste in knives, it's nice to look at the multi-bladed knives that have all these different shapes and blade types and all that sort of thing. They're great. Love looking at them. But if I'm looking for an EDC knife that I'm going to actually use, this is what I'm looking at. The Sod Buster. I want to say the Sod Buster style. Single blade, whether it be a clip point like this or a drop point. I'm happy with them. Just give me one good blade and that'll keep me happy for days or months. So there you have it there. Let's have a look at some of the dimensions. Here you have your stainless steel blade. You have your smooth white bone handle and, you know, all the normal stuff with the pins and your pivot, the liners, all very nice. Nothing unusual about it there. The blade length, 2.75. And yep, I'm going to see where they measured it from. So looking here, look at that. They say 2.75 there to the choil. And of course, that's what I'm looking for. I want to know the length of the working blade. You know, don't say it's a 4-inch blade or a 3-inch blade when it's not. The actual working length is less than that because it stops at the choil. And we all know that the choil's there for sharpening purposes. It tells you where to stop sharpening. And the Ricasso's right there. And it has that nice little label in it and everything. You know, what more can I say about this knife? It's a nice little knife. The thickness of the blade is 0.06 of an inch. You can see it there. It's not a thin little weeny one. It's solid. Is it sharp? It feels sharp. You know, that's not a real sharpness test, but I can feel it catching on my skin. Probably could do with a strop. Now, looking at something else that was pointed out to me is that how good is that? How even is that sharpened edge at the end here? And this is not too bad. You look at that. It's pretty consistent all the way, which doesn't always happen with all them manufacturers. Nice in my hand here. No problem with that. Like I did say, it is a slip joint, though. So you need to be aware of that. How much did I pay for this guy? Well, that much. You're not paying the world for it. For a Marbles knife, that's a little up there, but I kind of like this. And I suspect it has a lot to do with the handle. That bone probably added a little bit to the price, but still worth it. Anything under $20, you know, it's good for me. The closed length of the knife, and we're talking from top to the butt. That is the closed length, 3.75 inches. That's not bad. That's pretty standard for this style of knife. The edge type is a plain edge. Liners are brass. You got your match strike, your match strikes in there. That's great. And, you know, I can see why it would be handy back in the day. How much does this guy weigh? 2.19 ounces. Not bad. And it's a good fit for me. What can I say? Now, I did say that I want to compare it. And the last Sod Buster I got was from Roper Knives. And it's the Tumbleweed, which really impressed me. I liked it a lot. You know, the Tumbleweed is actually a junior. It's a Tumbleweed Jr. Obviously, the price is a little bit higher. And here it is here. I've showed you this before. I'll put a link up here or in the description. You can have a look at that. Now, you can see what I was talking about on that handle. See that? This is a very nice pure white bone handle. And if you compare the two here, and I'll open it up here and you can see, I think this is a drop point. Is it a clip point? I don't know. And it's so close between the two, I'm not sure. You know what? I'm going to go with drop point / clip point. I don't know. Now, you know, just like I said on the marbles, as you know, you look at the cutting edge here, the actual sharpened edge, nice and consistent. Now, when you look at these two knives together, I'm going to put them together right here like that. And they're twins. Check that out. One a little bit more than the other. It actually looks like the handle is a little bit heavier and a slightly bit longer on the marbles here. And then you have your Roper. The Roper just has a regular nail neck. This has the match strike on it. And I would say everything else is almost the same. You know, it'd be hard to tell the difference. You want to know what the two biggest differences are? The Roper, it's a lockback. And if I remember, it's a pretty good lockback. And it stays in there and there's no movement on there. Now with the slip joint, there's a little bit more movement on the marbles here. The other big difference is the steel that was used on this guy. And they are using 1065 carbon steel, whereas this is stainless. Now everybody's going to say, well, there you go. There's the difference. Yeah, and it's quite a difference. I will say this. For a working knife, the carbon, you're going to sharpen a lot more. And the stainless, maybe not so much. Now, if you're like me, where my sharpening is kind of hit and miss, and I tend to try and keep away from it for as long as possible, I'm going to go with the stainless for an EDC knife. This is a little bit fancier and well made. Yeah, you know, but I'm looking here and I'm thinking, just looking at these two knives, it's really not that obvious, the difference between them. You know, like I said, beside the two things, two different blade types, well, blade steel. And I will say the 1065 is way better, personally, I think, than the 440A stainless steel. But look at these guys. You know, they're pretty close. Not a lot of difference. How much did this guy cost me? Well, a little bit outside my budget. $25 and 25 cents. The marbles here is $16.95. You're talking $9, $10 difference between them. It's not going to break the bank on anybody. Are you willing to spend more than $10? I think it depends on the person, how they look at a knife, and everybody does it differently. I don't care what anybody says. We all look at the same stuff, but we feel differently about each thing we look at on it. I don't like a clip point. I'm not a big fan of a clip point blade, but I think that carbon steel, I prefer. It takes more maintenance, but I still prefer it. Why? I just think it looks better, feels better, and probably cuts a lot better. Stainless, working blade. This is something I'm going to carry in my pocket when I'm going out to do some rough chores. An everyday working knife. Now, a Sod Buster is designed to be a working knife. This is a little bit too nice for me to take it to work. I would rather keep this on me and carry it around for regular stuff, regular chores, like I said, cutting paper, cutting open a box, things like this. Whereas at work, I get a little bit more hectic with my knives, and I'd rather have the marbles. It's going to save me $10 because I'm going to do something with it that it's not designed for at work, because I'll be in a situation you go, you know what, I'll just snap. This, I'm not going to do that with. Which is the better knife? I think they have their uses, both of them, and they're both very good for both uses. I do like this knife. It's a lot prettier. The Roper knife, it's nice. Nice steel, nice blade. When I hold them together here and you look at those liner locks, a little hard to tell the difference, right? The bone handle, obviously, a little bit different. You make the choice. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I'm always willing to hear what somebody else is going to say. Pretty sure Lacey Lace is going to come back and say, well, sharpening this and sharpening this is a whole different story. And I'm pretty sure she can tell us about it. But hey, like I said, I'm horrible at sharpening. I avoid it like the plague. But you do have to sharpen them. So if you're like me, messing up the marbles when sharpening it is not going to kill me. I'm a little bit upset with myself if I do it on the Roper. So there you go. The marbles, work knife, slip joint, stainless steel, bone handle, not the pure clear bone, which, to be honest, I kind of like, but it's smooth, well made. The Roper, pretty knife. It's the lock back. The steel, 1065, a little bit better than the stainless. Otherwise, really, what's the difference? Just saying. And don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. Pretty sure I'll be back again soon. Maybe with another sharp and shiny comparison. I think I might do that. I think I might pull out all my Sod Busters. There's an idea. And have a look at them. Do a real comparison between Sod Busters. It's not like I have a lot of them, but I do like them. Maybe I'll do that. Time to start doing some comparisons. You will be safe out there. And I'm pretty sure I'll be back again soon. Just saying. Thanks for watching. And Happy New Year to you all.